Happy evening. Welcome to Chat with Cham Show. Viewers, you're all watching Chat with Cham Show, one of the best programs where the champions who have impacted several lives, who have supported many families, many people, who have crisscrossed the goodness journey and touched upon people, have been coming on this show and talking, particularly the student community who were part of the goodness journey, were part of this Chat with Cham Show. Today, we have a wonderful quote for our champion. It goes like this: परिंदों को मंजिल मिलेगी यकीनन, परिंदों को मंजिलें मिलेगी यकीनन, ये उनके फैले हुए पर बोलते हैं, वो लोग खामोश रहते हैं जमाने में जिनकी हुनर बोलते हैं. So we have a personality who has been silently doing his work and his work has been speaking. The person is Nishchith, who is joining our show. Nishchith, hearty welcome to Chat with Cham Show.
Thank you so much for that introduction. It was a very generous introduction.
Happy to see you after a long time. Of course, as the quote was there, that drop in the ocean is what we all have heard. But here is a human who speaks that ocean in the drop. So when we put upon this quote to people, people said there is an error in the quote, error in the message. I said, we should not belittle ourselves. We all are ocean. We all are an ocean by ourselves. And we need to be thinking big, thinking high. So here is welcoming you for Chat with Cham Show.
Thank you.
Nishchith is confident. Nishchith is 100% sure. You are sure of where you are going to be. You are sure of what you are doing. And from grade 3 onwards, what I remember, maybe you would have been doing a lot of social work. I know it's all upbringing, family. Who has been your inspiration, Nishchith? It's a long journey, and now you're into the metallurgical and material engineering project you're doing, and so many things that you have touched upon. In third year of engineering, you have already touched upon nearly 12 years or 15 years down the line doing social work. How the journey has been?
So I've been very lucky that I've gotten the right exposure from my parents, especially my mother. And she made it a point that me and my sister get involved in activities where we understand what the ground realities are, and we understand that the privilege that we acquired. So it was around my first experience in where I was involving with students and other communities was when I was in probably third or fourth grade, where my summer vacations were delayed because Kendra Vidyalayas have a summer vacations 1 month delayed. So I had 1 month free where I couldn't join any summer camp, and I couldn't engage with my other friends because they had their school on during that time. So that's why my mother decided that I would do some teaching, some musical instruments. I would teach other students in the Spastic Society in Karnataka in Indranagar. So I would teach them basic rhymes and little bit of few musical tunes, give them foundations of whatever I've learned as of yet. So I would go there every day during my summer vacations with my grandmother. So she would take me there, we would walk there, and about half an hour to 1 hour every day, I would interact with 5 to 6 students that the principal had selected, and I would teach them music. And at the end of that session is when they gave me a send off, and all these students played these tunes that I played, and that was held during the lunch break where all the parents come and feed their children. And that one moment has stayed with me all these years, and I basically understood what is the impact that one person has the ability to create. Even though it does not have to be monetary, it can be value providing in so many different ways, that especially students interacting with other students, there is a lot of understanding that comes because we are living the same kind of lives and we have similar experiences, and we can touch each other in so many different ways. So that has been my starting point in one of the ways where uh, I fondly remember. And obviously, after that, Franklin uncle from IDF reached out to me in school, and my journeys has been continuously engaging with IDF since then. Yeah.
Fantastic. You got the break. You know, people get break in life. So you got a break in social work when you were quite young. And
Yeah,
then teaching music. In fact, you can see there's a musical panel behind the portrait. of
Yeah.
Dr. R.K. Pillai, who is 93 young. So I thought, let this painting be dedicated to Nishchith, who started his career
Yeah. Yeah.
much younger. Yeah, you know, you were visiting leprosy hospitals, you are visiting Bala Gurukuls, talking to students. I'm sure I have also seen at many occasions when your grandmother and mother used to come. So there is a inspiration has come from the family, and they have given you a lot of exposure. So exposure to a student at a very young age to the societal impact, what is happening in the society will certainly student as a brighter individual. What is your say in this, Nishchit?
Definitely. I think a lot of our parents make it a point to raise us with certain amount of privilege, and we really have to be thankful for that. But one point that I really wish that parents make it a point to make students and children aware of the privilege that they have, and it's with a lot of hard work they've put in their lives that we have lives that are so comfortable for ourselves, and people are born in certain situations over which they do not have real control over. So my mother made it a point for me to understand the ground realities and understand that I have a certain amount of privilege and I should use that privilege to make sure that people who do not have that opportunity must be provided with environments in which they can grow and flourish. So I really urge that parents should provide maximum privilege for their for their children, but also make it a point to make them aware of the privilege and make them aware of the ground realities that we exist in.
So we can say a parallel school is happening, a school of life and a school of the real school, a curriculum-based school. So both are
Yeah,
running parallelly, and you are
yeah,
running and you are learning many things simultaneously. Your
yeah,
interaction with the leprosy inmates every Diwali, every New Year,
yeah,
Nishchit was there. There was no event that we have celebrated. Every IDF event. In fact, you are known as a team builder. You are known as a public speaker. You are known as a musical performer par excellence. Public speaking, of course, I have seen you. You had no fear at all. You used to stand before crowd, whatever number, and you used to inspire children in a big way. How did
yeah.
you how did you remove that fear at that young age?
To be very honest, I really have to lay credit to everyone at the IDF team, especially Pillai Tata, Narayan uncle, and Franklin uncle, because I would not have been given the opportunities to interact with people, and this is something that you obviously pick up along the way. And initially, obviously, as any other child, I was very nervous in terms of how to go before a crowd and how to talk to students and how to interact with crowds. But the process was more about watching and learning, and I was so privileged to have people like you and Franklin uncle and Pillai Tata and so many other people that I was introduced to through IDF. Great personalities like Dr. H Sudarshan, and
Yes.
I was just so inspired, and I would see the heroes that I would like to be, and the kind of impact I would like to make in others' lives. And when you have that level of motivation, I think it drives you.
I know, speaking before the ISRO chief, the Mangalyan man,
Yeah,
Dr.
yeah, Radha
speaking
Krishna.
before Narayana Murthy ji. In fact,
Yeah,
you
yeah,
live performance which inspired him very much. And he
yeah.
said when IDF has young ambassadors like Nishchit, the progress of IDF is Nishchit.
Yeah, definitely. I remember that.
So yes, so this is great stalwart. So again, that exposure not only to social work, not only giving public speaking in schools and colleges, but also before personalities. That
Definitely.
great breakthrough, Nishchit, that you have done. So any incident that you remember, Nishchit, that you have come across during the school days? Of course, we are going to talk to you phase two onto the college level. School days
Yeah,
as a young ambassador, you are part of the youngest ambassador along with Karan Dravid and many other
yeah,
students
yeah,
are there. Yeah. So
yeah,
how did it? How did the journey all through? I think you have also visited BR Hills. Dr. Sudarshan, of course, you have mentioned the
yeah.
person whose name has been oft repeated by Dr. APJ Abdul Kalam in his speeches. In any speeches, he used to talk about Dr. Sudarshan. And
Definitely.
you were in his good list. Wherever
Yeah,
Dr. Kalam used to take the name of Dr. Sudarshan and Dr. Sudarshan used to take name of Nishchit. So you see
yeah,
how the parallels are drawn. You are really a lucky and a blessed boy. Any
definitely.
that you remember passing phase through either a leprosy center or in the Bal Gurukul Nishchit?
So my fondest memories have definitely been interacting with the communities and with the students, and on the other hand also interacting with great personalities like H Sudarshan, like Dr. um Radhakrishnan and Narayan Murthy. So I've come across so many people across all walks from life, and who inspire me constantly. But on the other hand, what really motivates me is interacting with people who I on ground efforts where IDF had, and which were beautifully organized. They have an extensive network of people who are making real positive impact on the ground, and IDF gave me an opportunity not only to interact within the IDF community, but also people connected to it. And I was just amazed by the extent of the network that IDF has built, and the extent of social impact that IDF itself empowers. If not directly creating, it empowers a lot of people to create social impact, and I have been one of the beneficiaries of that mission of IDF. uh, and I definitely have to say that the drive and my understanding of how to go about creating change has to come from success stories that I've seen within IDF. And definitely, so one of my most fond memories will definitely be when I'm interacting with students, because I've connected more with students and what their understanding of career is, and what their requirements are, and how their requirements are different from mine, even though we are from such similar backgrounds in terms of age, in terms of the language that we speak, in terms of the country and locality we come from. So there is so much of diversity in the lives that we live, even though we have very similar backgrounds. So my fondest memories has been interacting with students in the Bal Gurukuls, where I would go for every Deepavali celebration, New Year celebrations. I would go and spend time with them, take part in sweet distribution and all of that. And also, I have a very fond memory of interacting with students in Ayappan school. That was also one of the network. That was also one part of the network of IDF's Karnataka organization. And I remember enjoying interacting with them so much, and even the principal liked me so much that they called me back for their school annual day, and then they made me speak again, and then hand out a few prizes to the students there. So interacting with students and trying to talk to them about where their efforts should be focused and what is the right mindset to have uh, would definitely create impact, because they see themselves in a student, they see themselves in some other student who's very similar to them. So I really look back at it very fondly in terms of the memories that I've created while engaging with students.
That's really awesome. I know the family time is always dinner time when we sit together and we discuss, share about things that has happened. I think
Yeah,
Nishchith, in your family, I know when the dinner time comes, mom and sister and all, you may be talking about the social projects. How do we help people over there? What is that life that you have impact? Really a different set of talk where
yeah,
you're not talking about this, yes, what next in life, what the career will go and things like that. You're talking more on went to a Bal Gurukul. The thought
yeah,
process is totally different, right? There, and
yeah,
you're thinking all the time of different individuals.
yeah,
This gets percolated as you travel down. So
yeah,
this family time and discussing on social projects is are really great. So the
definitely.
Bal Gurukul Ayyappan school, I remember there you discussed about student Meenakshi.
Yeah,
So
yeah,
as you used to also go there and teach them public speaking, talk to them, addressing them.
yeah,
Sumanahalli is one of the biggest, best leprosy projects in Karnataka and particularly in Bangalore. So
yeah,
your interaction with leprosy affected people, also the old age home, the
yeah,
elderly people, where you used
yeah,
to go and distribute blankets. So you had no inhibition of any sort, no fear of any sort going before anyone, hugging
correct.
them,
Yeah,
giving them the best of gifts and goodies. So
yeah,
you part of you were in the forefront throughout.
yeah, yeah.
So
So
yes,
So
yes, sir,
my
please go.
my experience with the Sumanali project has been very special, because I could firsthand see the difficulties that leprosy brings, and I still remember the conversations that I've had with leprosy patients, and how they're filled with regret, and they despise the disease that brought to them, and they're sitting in these homes, and they're trying to recollect, and they're trying to reason why they're in that situation. And I fondly remember one of the patients telling me that he was cruel to a few animals when he was very young, and probably this is why he has to experience this experience right now. So I was so moved by it, and I understood the amount of pain it brought to people. And especially because IDF itself as the organization has been the forefront in eradicating leprosy from India. It's been so moving to me to see that there is real change that needs to be done, and there are real problems on ground that people need help with, and there is a immense amount of help that we can provide for people who really need them. So my experiences have been surrounding that, especially because you said leprosy. I remembered all this because IDF has obviously been leprosy foundation in the past, and then we moved on to more holistic development through on all fronts. But yeah, so leprosy has been a very touching aspect, and when because of my interactions, and that gave me a lot of sense of what used to happen on ground, and make me aware of my privilege. So I think that's a very important experience for everybody to have.
So the volunteering and exposure to a student in either social project or any of that, which is pet projects of the student, and that gives a overall 360-degree development for a student, right? And
Definitely.
and an opportunity comes when we have to grab that opportunity and see that helps you well. You don't have to wait for that MBA degree to happen from a university, but
Yeah.
you learn in the
Yeah,
life process.
yeah, the
You
learning
learn in the
process
life.
for someone who's involving themselves within the community, who's putting himself in these situations, is way more than any class can teach you in a closed environment. So that is definitely a big plus point for me. It has been a huge learning experience, learning about how people think, learning about how people behave, and how the different experiences that people have coming from different backgrounds. I don't think any classroom would give me these experiences. Definitely.
Wonderful, wonderful. So, how was your journey from now then school to college? So, when you went from school to college and also now into the engineering college,
Yeah,
team building has been so. What all those things that you have learned, you have impacted in your college life?
yeah. So when
And
I was student,
I know you are dealing earlier with men, and now
yeah,
you are dealing with metal into the
yeah,
metallurgy. Yeah, you are
yeah,
dealing with material. You are dealing with materials rather. So,
yeah.
different are you? How are you going to translate these things over there?
Yeah. So when I was younger, when I was in my school days, uh, all of my efforts were driven and pushed by my mother. I really have to give her a lot of credit. She took it upon herself to create schedules and to make sure that we could go to places where I couldn't travel by myself. So she had to shift her work accordingly. I know so many instances where she would go to work as early as 5 or 6 in the morning, just so that she could leave work by afternoon, so that she could make some time so that we can come and get involved in IDF events. So she has been a huge driving force in terms of scheduling, in terms of putting my efforts in the right direction. And I see this gradual shift where I've learned through these processes on how to pick up and how to create my own space and create my own outlets for directing my efforts. So, especially in college, that now that I'm in college, and especially since it's a residential college, a lot of independence that we get when it comes to residential college. I like it's about creating communities of people who are like-minded. So in college we have a small organization of 8 students who basically we have our own organization in terms of reaching out to communities and helping women with sanitary health and raising awareness and reaching and creating some on-ground impact and teaching them about financial literacy. So what I see is that once once your parents and once the environment that you're growing up instills these values in you, it's going to stay in you, within you for a long time. And you create opportunities for yourself, you create time for these urges within you to take shape and form in real life. That's what I feel.
Great. Full credit to mother, where
Definitely, definitely.
she was scheduling all your social projects to school projects. That real mother I can see on scooty, sitting Nishchith on the back with a helmet, and then it's like any teleserial that you see or any ad that you see. So the
Yeah,
real life that she has been, full credit goes to her. I think
yeah,
she is the champion. She is the champion of the day.
definitely,
Uh,
definitely.
she is a champion creator.
Yeah,
Idea for idea for one when we started our student ambassadorship program, young ambassadorship program. I don't know at how many places, thousands of places, whether Dr. Franklin, Sri Ramji or Sanjay Ramji, wherever we went, we were saying that we have Panch Ratna. We had students like Karan, Nishchith, we have
Yeah,
Shai, we have Sahil, we had
yeah,
many Shankar Sai. So there are student group who are the greatest strength
yeah.
that gave us a good push into the social work. You
Correct.
inspired thousands. You inspired many students who could join hands and then help in a big way. I know you have the new things in the card. As per the discussion that you have, you need to now little bit explain about your quote, what you have said, that you
Yeah.
are not
So
you're an ocean, not a drop.
yeah.
How do we define that we are an ocean?
Yeah, it is a very popular saying that, when you're trying to put some efforts into something that you're trying to create and you're trying to invest your time in, you often say that, it's just an ocean in a drop. It's just an ocean in a drop. What I'm doing is irrelevant, it won't contribute much. But I strongly disbelieve, and that is the wrong mindset to have, according to me. Because this is a quote by Rumi, and it really impacts the way I think. Is that you are not an ocean, you're not a drop in an ocean, you're the entire ocean within a drop. And what I look at it as, there is an immense possibility from personal, which stems from personal responsibility, which stems from the impact that one individual can create. It is just so big and so important that people realize that their individual lives are so important for the communities just that they are encountering and they are in contact with, and they can create so much of a positive social impact with these smaller communities, and make one life better is also making making communities stronger, right? So that's how I look at it. And I want others to realize that you shouldn't belittle your own efforts when you're trying to create social impact. It is very important for you to understand that the impact that you create right now has effects for so many generations to come on, right? Like, if you make sure that one student gets through college, gets through his education, gets secures a job, you ensure generations of his children and his grandchildren are within that education atmosphere. They're doing well, they have opportunities for growth. So creating social impact needs to be an ingrained part of everyone's life, and they understand that personal responsibility within the social sphere is something that everyone can take upon themselves. And every change that you aim to make is not a drop in an ocean, it is an ocean within one drop.
What a thought itself. This one thought itself is sufficient. This one
Definitely.
thought, you are an ocean in the drop. Don't belittle yourself. Even if you
Yeah.
are an ordinary man, think that you are the prime minister. Think that
Yeah.
you're the king. Think that
Yeah.
you're the king. You can do wonders. Yeah, some people are holding a big position and they say I'm a lower person.
Yeah.
We should never do in our life. So somebody has quoted, though they say that there's a famous movie of the Big B. So we celebrated our Big B 78th birthday.
Yeah.
Amitabh
Yeah.
Bachchan. Yeah. So
Correct.
so
Correct. Yeah.
in a movie called Diwar, so he said that I have mere paas maa hai. So that's
Yeah.
this.
Yeah. Definitely. Yeah.
That's an apt one for you. Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Definitely a superpower for me.
Nishchith, you are also discussing about, though IDF has the skill development program called student leadership program, and you have something on the card to take it forward through the network of your group, through the college youth, and how we can collaborate and take things forward.
So from my understanding and from my experiences of learning within education systems that are present in India, I really feel that there has to be more networking and more interactions with the student bodies among themselves. So one of the one of the biggest factors that education systems in India right now do not focus on is leadership qualities, and how to develop these leadership qualities, and how it has to be more of a practical experience and getting involved with other students rather than reading a book, right? So these are few problems that I thought we should face. And I have had opportunities exactly within IDF, where I had opportunities where I could explore my leadership skills and I could develop those leadership skills. I knew how to talk to people, I knew how to interact with people, and all of these were created because of experiences of interacting with others, right? So we need to create outlets for students where they can interact with fellow students, they can interact with other people in that surroundings, and create create a curriculum for soft skills where everyone can interact with each other and learn from those each other's experiences, because that goes way beyond any other sort of knowledge that you can gain from a book or from a formal educational system. So my project with IDF has right now that I'm planning is creating student communities and uh, trying to implement peer support and peer mentoring where students teach each other, because teaching is the best form of learning, and through teaching you create better understanding of the other students. You create better understanding of your own capabilities. When you try to teach someone, you really know how well you've understood something, and through interacting with each other you would learn way more than what you would learn through reading a book. So this is my project, and I'm trying to involve my student body within college, trying to get volunteers from college who will be interested in helping out other students who require counseling, who require career guidance, who requires help with their mentoring in the college curriculum, school curriculum. And we're trying to create curriculums which will help students develop soft skills and technological skills, which they can in turn teach their juniors. And we create the cyclic model where students interacting with students keeps on going forever, and that creates better understanding of each other's lives.
Awesome, awesome. We are with you in the project, and we can see the revolution that we have set forth, which is called as the Grey Revolution, which is knowledge sharing. And you are at the right place to share knowledge. And as India, the next 20 years down the line, is going to be the youngest country in the world. And if we can translate all these things, if we are able to bring together all the youth at one place and give the hand holding to them properly, I'm sure the superpower dream that we are thinking about is going to come true. Otherwise,
Definitely
it will be a
achievable.
tough. It will be otherwise tough time. But we will
Yeah.
not have that thing to happen. But as we are all committed people, where there are college students who are going to put their first step into social work. Here is Nishchith, who has already traveled 12 to 13 years down the line in social work. See what an amazing transformation! What an amazing exposure! I'm sure every youth who are watching this program or every parent who are watching this program will certainly endorse the views of Nishchith that at a young age you should enter into social work and see life outside is also beautiful, which need to be expressed. Giving, sharing, expressing thoughts. These are all some of the great things. You are teaching music. I remember at one time you used to play four or five instruments and six languages at one go. Some Sanskrit, Kannada, Tamil,
Yeah.
Hindi. I know multilinguistic. Hats off to you, dear. I think. What's your vision plan? Where do you think that you need to be, Nishchit?
So in terms of my career, it is a constantly evolving vision for me in terms of where I have to be in terms of my career, in terms of what is the job that I'll be doing. But uh, at the bottom of my heart, I know two things for sure, that at the end of the day, I need to create impact in the surroundings that I exist in, and communities need to benefit from the actions that I take. And the second thing is that I really have to be in touch with music and have to keep interacting with my musical side.
Great. Music keeps you all through soulful and helps you wherever you are.
Yeah,
University for any purpose where students get together. So those who know music, they become more popular.
definitely.
they,
It's always good to
because
be in touch with your creative side, because it opens up a lot of ways in which you think, in which you perceive people, perceive your world. So it's very important to have some outlet for your creative steer.
there seems to be some contradiction over here with the statements that scientists have been making about left brain and the right brain. For you, both the brains are working properly. there is no comparison of any brain. Some people say that if you're creative, the left and the right, I get
Yeah,
confused. For you, everything is intact. Education is intact, social work is intact, creativity is intact. God bless you. You're at the right place, and blessings from the entire community who are watching, the social spectrum who are watching you. You had your own challenges as any student or any individual for that matter during this national and global emergency of COVID-19. So, what are the challenges that you face, and if you have any message that the youth should take it up during this challenge time?
so we had a lot of plans in terms of how to go about the on-ground implementation, and because of how COVID has restricted every form of transportation and interaction with humans and interaction with each other, we faced a lot of efforts in terms of how to create on-ground efforts. But honestly, I have to say at this point that, the only driving force for me to make it happen was Narayan uncle, because I saw how actively he was involved in every activity that idea was doing. He had, even from day one of corona, even though lockdown was in place, he made sure that he was reaching out to the communities, helping them in any way that he can, giving out food packets, creating menstrual health awareness, giving out kits. And in every way, I was so shocked, because I was a youngster with relatively less risk of catching covid, and my immune system being much stronger than you. But your zeal and your inspiration to create and motivation to go on ground, I really think that is what drove me to create impact on the ground and go on ground and start. But definitely, on ground efforts is definitely a big challenge. So for people who cannot go on the ground, definitely try to create impact where you raise awareness, where you interact with people through internet, and then you try to educate people, because education is a big problem surrounding corona and covid, and how to handle these situations. And everything that changes with corona, there is education that needs to be given, and awareness that has to be given to students and for communities on how to handle their personal lives, their professional lives, and the pandemic itself.
Certainly, your message is really great where we need to be prepared. And thank you for the compliments. I don't know the chat whether you are interviewing me or but still, it's very wonderful speaking to you, having a wonderful chat, heart to heart chat with Nishchith. Nishchith, your future, your career, your vision is Nishchith. You're
Thank you
going to
so
be
much.
you're going to be there where you are and what you have vision. And many people are going to be inspired who are now watching this program. And your goal, wherever you have designed your plan, you're going to be there. We thank you for joining this program and opening up the minds of the people that you are not a drop, you are an ocean. The biggest
Yes.
thought that you have given, the biggest thought that you have given is that you are an ocean, which is a wonderful thought. God bless you for being part of this Chat with Champ show.
Thank you so much for having me, Uncle. It's been such a joy for me to be on the call with you.
Thank you so much. And we are very much delighted to have you. Thank you.
Thank you.
Viewers, you are watching Chat with Champ show, and we had Nishchith. What a bubbling enthusiasm he had. From a childhood of third standard, second standard to third standard, and now into third year of engineering, dealing from men to social causes, and now into engineering concept and creating a new idea. He is really an inspiration for many. All those who like this program, please spread this message of Chat with Champ. Many more good thoughts and good actions are going to come up. As Nishchith has given us a good thought, he has also given us an action plan where volunteers can get connected and do social work despite of any problem that can happen in our lifestyle. So keep watching this Chat with Champ show program.